It's unfortunate, but it's just the truth. Alright, cringe.
Since the first Fire Users Flex video gained so much positive feedback, we're back for round 2. You know, those scenes that make you go wow and ouch at the same time. So, without further ado, let's get into the second set of moments when Fire Users in anime flexed on their opponents. Blitzing into the list, we have the lioness Mereoleona versus her punching bag Raya from Black Clover.
I still haven't gotten to this part of Black Clover yet. I'm pretty sure, like, where I'm at in Black Clover, and I actually heard that the movie is actually coming out in a few days. But yeah, I'm literally right at the part where, like, they just shit, let me do that. But I'm pretty sure they literally just got done, like, with that whole, like, being at that that place that's basically at Atlantis. That's where I'm at. But yeah, I definitely do want to keep watching it because I was enjoying it. But yeah, I've seen this clip a lot of times, and yeah, she goes hard.
Before the fight, Raya was heavily established to be a threat due to his immense magic power, and with his transformation magic, he proves to be an opponent that not anyone should take lightly. Well, that is after he faces off against Mereoleona, and right off the bat, Mereoleona blitzes forward with blinding speed, hitting him straight in the face.
I watched Black Clover like that. I never planned on watching it, but one day I was like, you know what, let me watch this. I ended up enjoying it, at least for the bit that I watched so far.
Water magic, and Mereoleona, being the badass that she is, just opted to take the attack head on. After all, there's no need for mere tactics if you just turn up the heat and turn it into steam. Despite Raya changing up his angle of attack, Mereoleona's sheer power and strength just burst right through it, even foiling his last-ditch effort by copying Astar's sword. Let this be a lesson for Raya, to never again look down on the indomitable will that humans are capable of.
Damn.
What we have next is Escanor versus
I like this. I like this.
If we're talking about flexing, then you can count on Escanor. For this guy, it's just a literal
I love Escanor.
talking flex. His very existence is to flaunt his...
This man is literally the epitome of talking shit, the character. This character is just meant to talk shit every single time he is on screen.
pride, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it since this man has the skills and power to back it up, and that was truly showcased in his fight against Estarossa. His quotes are enough of a flex on their own, but what comes after is what truly matters, as he summons Cruel Sun, which then proceeds to easily...
Who gonna summon him during the day? Nobody really.
And in the ensuing fight,
even whoop the Demon King's ass.
Blackout to cancel out Escanor's Cruel Sun, his efforts were for nothing.
He can run his fade at night. Hell, sometimes not even at night, because there was that one part in Seven Deadly Sins where it was nighttime. They had that little it was like a mini tournament that those demons were having, and Escanor literally created a sun, like he created like a pseudo sun inside of his mind, and he literally grew off of it, and then he used the power that he made inside it. This was inside of his mind, because Gother, like, you know, because Gother tried to trap him inside of his mind, but then he created a sun in his mind that activated his powers, then proceeded to one-shot the two other like demons that were just watching the fight. So even if he just thinks about the sun, you can't do nothing. He can just think about the sun and he can't do nothing.
Simply shrugged it off and hit him dead center with his cruel...
I guess it just don't matter. It really don't.
In the whole series, this man has done nothing but kick ass, defy the odds, and flex whilst he's at it, and we certainly love him for it. Now, you may disagree that he's a fire user, and to that I'd say, who decided that?
Facts. Who decided that?
Coming up next, got enough.
Man, I love Seven Deadly Sins. It's so criminal what they did to Seven Deadly Sins in that last season. Criminal.
Versus Sieg from one of the most chronological...
Yes, sir. I love this fight so much in Apocrypha. It was this fight and damn, what was that other fight? It was this fight and there was another fight. I cannot Achilles, the Achilles fight. Yeah, I like, you know, I love the Apocrypha. I enjoy the Apocrypha a lot.
We have arguably one of the most heated and destructive fights in the whole show here. After all, if we're talking about fights that are of destructive proportions, then this fight definitely takes the cake. A fight so destructive that maps were probably redrawn because of the aftermath. We were treated to a front row seat in this fight as we witnessed literal gods and legends duke it out and fight for what they believe in. Garner was clearly shown to be the one winning in this fight as he deforms the landscape and turns them either into rubble or molten magma while slowly driving Sieg into his limits. Garner was able to drive the fight in his favor as he used his noble phantasm Vasavi Shakti to put an end to the fight, but alas, victory was not for him to claim. But we do have to keep in mind, it took Achilles' shield and Frankenstein's galvanism just to squeeze out a victory for Sieg. But that's besides the point here. The sheer display of power that Garner has shown us was enough of a flex on its own, but the story can't go on if the main character's dead. After all, this victory he had to give to someone else. A true hero of charity indeed. Continuing the nuclear mayhem.
Oh, slime. I didn't know this entire show was getting the Super Saiyan Blue transformation. Wow. I actually heard about that, but I didn't see like any confirmation on that. I've heard about it, but I haven't seen any confirmation. Like, I don't know if it's in the news or what, but I may have to check later. But I've heard people talk about it though. So if it's true, then great. Great, and finally.
Coming up next, we have Benimaru versus Charybdis.
Yeah, this was hard.
If I have to be perfectly honest,
it's in a story that he's training for. Oh, okay.
Dummy test. Charybdis was previously established to not be taken lightly, and this here is no
that has to mean he is getting it. Gotcha.
Episodes have shown that even the three beasts, along with Geld and Gabi,
we'll see when that happens.
Even had trouble taking it down, even receiving some casualties on the whole ordeal. So yes, this floating shark is still as strong as ever, even despite being an imitation. As things were grim, who else showed up but Benimaru, descending into the battlefield as he slices Charybdis while using his black flame to prevent it from healing, and in an instant engulfing the entire beast with hell flare and just deleted it out of existence. All that within 2 moves, may I remind you. Charybdis, who's
please before part 3, I'm actually begging you, Toshi. I mean, we'll see.
For the past 2 days was just
I'm not expecting nothing. We'll just see.
By Benimaru using only 2 moves. If that doesn't establish the power dynamic, then I don't know what does. Benimaru has come so far to get to this point, and that should warrant a little bit of flexing in my opinion. So long, Charybdis, you won't be missed.
Yeah, Benimaru was dope in Slime.
This next anime may well be a nostalgic trip for you.
Now, I've actually never watched Hitman Reborn. I do kind of want to watch it just because like a few of my homies actually love this show. Like, they love Hitman Reborn, but I never watched it, so that might be something I have to put on my long list of anime to watch.
You are a fool.
Who was that? OTJ, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Definitely appreciate that. Thank you.
In Hitman Reborn was a thrilling climax that showcased the growth and determination of the protagonist, Suna. Suna Yoshi, who started as a timid and clumsy teenager, typical for a shonen protagonist, had to overcome his fears and doubts to unleash his full potential as the Vongola Decimo. Our boy turned from a cowardly schoolboy to the badass leader of one of the most powerful mafia families in the anime. His whole journey in the anime was mostly a flex, so it
really sounded like Beast Gohan. Ultimate Gohan, like when he fought Boo, was trying to be Beast Gohan, you know what I'm saying?
One of the most memorable moments of the show. The fight was a clash of wills, skills, and ideals, coupled with the animation that was fluid and dynamic, stunning effects, and a soundtrack that enhanced the emotional impact of the scene. Battling against the enemy who has the same abilities as you while also being buffed as hell and has a winning record in a parallel dimension. You'd think the odds would be stacked against Suna, but of course not. This is a shonen anime we're talking about. It's only right that his ancestor, who is the first ever boss of the Mafia, would appear and remove Suna's limiters. He then proceeded to rip Byakuran's wings off, and after tragic twists and turns, deliver a final blow with the full power of his ironic X-burner, overpowering his enemy's flames while declaring his resolve to protect his friends and family.
No more zones until then.
Conclusion to the future
just to say, I ain't got a summon for shit.
Anime,
it's crazy how you just came in here and said summon. I ain't got to do a damn thing. Yeah, I might just have to watch Hitman Reborn.
The next entry, as we talk about the final fight between Ogami and Hitomi in the Code Breaker anime.
I thought about watching this anime, but I haven't done that yet. Like I said, just a long list of anime that I have to watch.
Fire and lightning are two sides of the same coin if we're talking about their...
Honestly, might just start doing that in Discord. It's just like watch anime that I've always wanted to watch, and whoever joins in just joins in.
Single-handedly dealt with all the code breakers early on in the series, with Ogami, the edgy fire user, being defeated by his teacher. This cemented Hitomi's position as a strong and compelling antagonist that the heroes have to overcome. His comeuppance arrives in
So
the
now watch
final
One Piece.
episode
What am
where
I doing, bro? I've only watched One Piece up to Alabasta, and that's it. Like all of One Piece that was available on Netflix, that's all I watched. And honestly, I don't plan on watching it anymore. It's like if I end up watching more One Piece, sure, but I'm not, you know, I don't really care to watch anymore. But you know, we'll see how I feel about it in the future. But yeah, I haven't watched all of it. I watched some of it.
His true power, along with an over-the-top flourish just for removing his ring. The scene oozes with edginess as blue flames appear in the shape of a serpent, and an English voice overlaps with his when Ogami tells Hitomi that he's gonna burn him up. The azure flames aren't just for show, and Hitomi and the other code breakers realize the terrifying power when the
4,000 episodes is too much. That's why you just gotta pace it out and just do however many you want. You kind of just have to schedule out certain episodes you want to watch.
Up your lightning attacks, and the guy those flames came from just stands around there menacingly. As much as the anime ended up being somewhat of a disappointment, the scene sticks out as one memorable flex for an edgy fire user. The goddess from Fate Grand Order takes the stages. Coming up next, we have Quetzalcoatl.
Okay, I've actually never seen Fate Grand Order, but I have seen this scene. And it's pretty dope, I'm not gonna lie. It's dope.
The Fate series really does love their nuclear explosions, as once again we're treated to one of the most orgasmic and satisfying visual and sound designs that the Fate series has to offer. This scene is a gorgeous spectacle and an enormous flex in my opinion, showing Quetzalcoatl's impressive nuking abilities, not once, but twice. Her noble phantasm, Piedra del Sol, is very much indicative of her capabilities and power as a servant, as it allows her to open up a gate that gives her the ability to utilize her authority over the literal sun, unleashing a blast of solar wind in the surrounding area, evaporating not only the ground that Tiamat is standing on, but also chaos tide along with it. If that city annihilating level of attack isn't enough to impress you, then fret not, as the party's just getting started. She also used Ultimo Tope Patada, an extinction level dropkick that imitates the very same meteor that almost killed all life on Earth. If that display of power still doesn't impress you, then you also have to keep in mind that she wasn't even in her full power state when performing those noble phantasms. She was nerfed so hard so that she wouldn't convert the entire continent in a pile of molten slug. Yeah, that's a flex, alright.
I plan on something for part 2. I mean, if it's for a unit that I want, then yeah. I'm gonna say this right now. If it's Orange Piccolo, yes. If it's honestly anybody else who's like, you know, not anybody that I would want, then probably not. It all depends on, like, you know, if the unit is something that I actually want, and if not, then no.
Following that one-sided beatdown, we have Charon the Reflector from Fire Force.
Hey. I love Fire Force. This dude was crazy.
Coming up next is arguably one of the coolest characters in the series. I know he's supposed to be an antagonist, but it isn't fair if you make him this cool. You might argue that he's not a fire user, but if you think about it, Charon is still basically a fire user in a sense due to his ability to manipulate and control fire, and that reflector ability of his was presented front and center in his confrontation against Nataku. Now, in a berserk and unstable state, Nataku was about to blow everyone and their dog to kingdom come with this attack, and that was basically on par with that of an atomic bomb. And of course, who's best to receive such a lovely present other than the Reflector himself, tanking the whole blast using nothing but his fist and sheer willpower, absorbing the entirety of the blast and reflecting it straight to the moon. In terms of pure unadulterated badassery, this is surely up there. Once again, I present to you Charon the Reflector, and you better put some respect on his name. To cap off our list, we have one of the most visually stunning Chinese anime created by Samsara Studios, released in 2019.
Oh yeah, my homie actually showed me this. It actually looks really cool. Yeah, my homie actually showed me this. It looks really cool. Yasun Susan God type stuff he just did, not gonna lie. Yeah, he's cool. He's definitely cool in the show.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Fog Hill of 5 elements.
Yeah, my homie actually showed me this, and I was like, bro, this looks fantastic.
Ren Yuxuan, the protagonist, is a former aspect of fire, but former doesn't mean weaker, as his fight with the Beast of Wrath proves it. The power and martial prowess of the aspect of the elements are shown here in full display, all the while supported by the marvelous animation and sound design of Samsara Studios. This isn't only a flex by the aspect of fire, Yuxuan, who held his own against the Quilin, aka the strongest demon, but also...
I know what it's called? Hold on, let me go back. Fog Hill of 5 Elements. That was what it's called.
Created by Samsara Studios, released in 2019. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it's the Fog Hill of 5 Elements. When Ren Yuxuan, the protagonist, is a former aspect of fire, but former doesn't mean weaker, as his fight with the Beast of Wrath proves it. The power and martial prowess of the aspect of the elements are shown here in full display, all the while supported by the marvelous animation and sound design of Samsara Studios. This isn't only a flex by the aspect of fire, Yuxuan, who held his own against the Quilin, aka the strongest demon, but also the small team of Chinese animators that proved they have the passion and skill to make a banger anime.
Like, this just looks insane. I pray for all the people who had to animate this.
Those are my second set of favorite moments when fire users flexed on their opponents. But again, there are just so many characters that can control flames in anime. There's bound to be some more that I've missed. Let me know what you think in the comment section below.
Yeah, I definitely gotta check out the first one, but at a later time.
I'm glad